Normal distribution can be used not only to find probability for a given x, we can reverse this process and say, okay, give a probability and find the x corresponding to that probability. Yeah. And this is the formula we use for that, x equal to mu plus z sigma, where z comes from the normal table for a particular cumulative probability. So if it is not a cumulative probability that we are given, then you have to take that given probability and find the corresponding cumulative probability, because only cumulative probability can be used with the normal table, and then you find the z and then you enter it into this formula. So here, for example, so if x represents the time taken to download an image file, and suppose if it follows normal distribution with 18 seconds and standard deviation of 5, so find x such that 20% of the download times are less than x. So less than x is the 20%. So area is given as 20%. Okay, and what is the x value here? That is mu plus z times 5 standard deviation. Of course, z is going to be negative here because it is on the left side. So go to the normal table, okay, and look for 20%, 0.2 other words. So 0.2 is right here. Now you have to do a little bit of, see, it's between these two, minus 0.84 and minus 0.85. So you have to interpolate a little bit. So it's not accurate. So 0.84, and then you plug it into this formula and you get 13.8 seconds. So let's use this formula in Excel. So D here is, we want 99% of the people in the United States consumed less than how many gallons of soft drink. So less than 99%, 99%. So the cumulative probability is now 99%. So here cumulative probability is 0.99. Then we want to find the z value from the table. Okay, and that is, okay, 99%. We have to look for 99. So you are now using the table backwards. Okay, you find the area inside and then find the z from the edges. 99%, okay, is 2. So here 99% is between these two, 2.32 and 2.33. So we can probably interpolate and say 2.325. It's an approximation. So 2.325, and then x will be mu plus z times sigma, gives you the x value. Okay. If you want to use the Excel function, again, like norm.dist and norm.s.dist, Excel gives you two functions to do the reverse of the normal table. Norm.inv and norm.s.inv. So norm.s.inv will give you the z value like in the normal table. Whereas norm.inv, you have to enter the mu and sigma values also in the function, and it will give you the x value directly. Okay. So like for example, if you do norm.inv, okay, so now first you have to give the probability. Probability is cumulative probability. You need to make sure that it is cumulative probability. And then mean and standard deviation. So you give mean and standard deviation, and that will give you the x value. But if you want to use norm.s.inv, so you go norm.s.inv, then you give only the probability, and that will only give you the value of z. And then you have to compute the x value yourself. So mu plus z times sigma. See, now you see the Z here, we did an approximation to get 2.325. The actual value is 2.326. Now one more problem in a similar fashion. So how many gallons of soft drink did the middle 95% of the people in the US consume? So you want the middle 95%. So here, this middle point is 95. So for these two, we need to find the cumulative probability for the middle 95. If the middle is 95, outside is 5%. So the left side cumulative value would then be what? Half of what's outside. So what is outside is 5%. Half of that, so it will be 1 minus that. So that's the outside part. Half of that is going to be on the left side. Cumulative probability on the left side. Okay. Now on this side, okay, it's going to be the tail area is 0.025. So the cumulative corresponding to that right side tail will be simply 1 minus that. That's the cumulative probability for the right side. Now for these two, then we can go to normal table and find the value of Z minus 0.025. I'm sorry, 0.025. So 0.025 is right there, and that is minus 1.96. So that will be minus 1.96, and then Z sub 2 will be 0.975, and these are symmetric, so you're going to find plus 1.96 for 0.975. So that will be 1.96. So then x sub 1 is mu, let's make that absolute reference, plus the first Z times standard deviation. Okay, now we can copy that down one row and you get, so that's the two limits for the middle 95%. And we can use the Excel functions. Once again, if you want to use norm.s dot inverse, okay, for the left side cumulative probability, okay, and the right side cumulative probability, okay, then we can copy these formulas because we have absolute references properly done. Then x sub 1 is mu, absolute reference that, plus Z times sigma, absolute reference that, and copy that. So here there was a problem. C11 should have been absolute referenced and then copied. Okay. Now x sub 1 and x sub 2 using norm.inv, so that way you don't have to compute Z and then find x values. So if you use norm.inv, so the left side probability and then the mean, absolute reference that, standard deviation, absolute reference that, okay, and copy that down one row and you get the upper limit. So this is how you do normal distribution to find probability given x, or given probability find x.